we're humans, but we can also be Akashic Records people. We could also be elves. We could be whatever. Like, I don't understand the concept of human souls or soul existence itself. I mean, I do, but it's so much more loosely tied than I ever thought it was. It's like I had this string of things that were braided. I'm like, okay, this is a human soul. Okay, I'm a medium, so I talk to human souls. Okay, I'm a medium, so I'm only talking to energy because that's what souls are. And I'm like adding braids to this thing, and I feel like I got to this little end of the ball, and I was like, okay, that's it. I'm a medium. And now, like those little tiny jelly ball things that were really popular when we were kids, like the little things that you would, like...
Yeah.
that you would weave, I feel like I got to the ball end, and now, there's these little dangly things everywhere, and I'm like, I don't know where you go! And I'm supposed to like figure out how to keep doing this weird square knot diddly-do freaking pattern on the end of my book bag of mediumship, and I'm like, I feel like those little strands are breaking into strands, and those little strands are breaking into strands, and I don't know how I'm supposed to weave this because I don't have an instruction book. I only had one camp counselor that showed me how to do one square box knot.
That's how I feel.
Okay, as long as you feel the same way too, because I feel like people are going to ask us, well, how is it that this person had a past life as an Akashic person? That's not even a physical existence. I don't know.
Well, it's a little different for me because I don't have the braid. I just have hair.
Interesting.
Yeah, I have no context of what it should be, which is why I'm now bringing you all of the hair pieces, and you're like, why is there so much hair? And I'm like, I don't know how to braid.
Hi everyone, I'm Liv, because I forgot what my name was. What's your name?
And
we're your Meta PsycKick.
Today we're talking about paranormal stories of a medium, but today it's my stories, guys!
Yeah, it's really adorable. So what do you got to tell us, Emily?
Okay, so the first reading that I had, we were talking to this one person, and I did a tarot reading for her, and this is actually the reason why I tell people you can ask me literally anything, and I can tell you if I can do a tarot reading on it, because their question was, who is this weird man that I'm seeing when I astral project?
Oh, I remember.
And immediately I was like, that's really nerve-wracking. You're putting me on the spot, because also I have no idea anything about astral projection. So hopefully I'm not telling you wrong things, because I don't want you to get hurt, because astral projection could be really dangerous. So I was like, well, since you have said that, before your reading, Liv has been teaching me, because at this point, we were just figuring out that I was a psychic medium, so I was sitting in on Liv's readings, and she was like, you're gonna write things on this piece of paper against your will of things that you see, because you don't believe anything that you're seeing, so you're gonna write it all down. And I was like, okay, but it's all gonna be fake.
No.
Well, when I did it, it just so happened to not be fake, and when I was in the readings with Liv, writing these things out, she would say them, and I was like, I wasn't making that up.
What in tarnation?
That wasn't real. This isn't real.
Yeah.
So I did that before her reading, and I specifically wrote down, there is this weird man here that may be like an estranged uncle of some sorts, but he seems really familiar, and I don't see him. I just hear his weird laugh that for some reason is familiar. So now let's figure out who this freaking man is.
Yeah, hence the laugh and the clairsentient feeling of familiarity. Is that how he expressed it to you?
Yeah, because I would hear his laugh and I was like, why is this like, why do I know what that laugh is, even though I've never heard it before? And I did a tarot reading about astral projection from this man that was telling me how he helps her get back to her body safely, but he was also giving her like advice and tips on how not to go to the scary places so that she gets like trapped or bad things happen to her from weird spirits. He was literally giving her tips through tarot cards. So after the reading,
Em pooped her pants.
Who the F is this person? So I called Liv and I was like, who is this man that was telling me about astral projection? He is like, I don't know, in his 30s, and he has this familiar laugh. who is he?
Yeah, so she calls me. I'm at home. I got home from work. I'm trying to enjoy a glass of wine while making spaghetti for my wonderful fiance. And she calls me. Well, I think you texted me first, but she calls me. She's like, I need you to know who I'm talking to.
Immediately after, and I was like, no, I need you to answer. Because this is weird.
So I'm like a glass of wine in, and M's like, I need your assistance. And I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. The one glass of wine that I've already enjoyed is telling me that this is not important. However, the scaredness and the poop I can smell through the phone is telling me that it is. So anyways, she's like, explained everything that she just explained to me. And I see this man walk forward. And he is like 42, 43, mid-40s. He's wearing like a very, very well-worn leather jacket and jeans with like boots and a t-shirt, and he's got like sandy brown hair and like maybe a little bit of a goatee. He's showing me a mustache right now though, because I said what in tarnation, so he's like, I'm a cowboy.
Jesus Christ.
Like I can hear him. It's really funny, like an old like spaghetti western. Anyways, so I was like, all right, Mr. freaking cowboy man, what is it that you do with dreams? Like, are you a weirdo? Do you need to get out of here? What's your MO? I need to get it. And he showed me an hourglass with sand in it. And I was like, you deal with time? What do you mean an hourglass with sand in it? I don't have time for this.
Jesus.
He's like, she's talking about dreams and I'm giving you sand. He goes, I don't deal with time. I deal with time, but within a different space of reality. I am the Sandman.
Yeah.
And I was like, the Sandman. Long story short, he tells me that he is the Sandman. He deals with time. However, the reason he showed me the sands of time is because he's the Sandman. And that's something that for us culturally where we live, we can equate that to, because the Sandman leaves crusties of sand in your eyes because he deals with dreams. And he goes, the reason I'm showing you time is because M said I feel familiar, and so did her client. And the reason I feel familiar is because I have been here to help humans with dreaming and the dream realm since the beginning of their time, which is why I feel familiar. He's like, no one ever really sees me, but I've always been there, which is why everyone's like, I'm the weirdest estranged uncle.
Yeah. But we did a TikTok the other day, and we like stitched a TikTok, and someone was talking about the man that people see in their dreams, and both Liv and I look at each other and we're like,
I'm going to be asking my haunted doll about the man. There have been a lot of people who have reported seeing this man in their dreams. Some people think he's a spirit, others think he's a demonic entity, and some think that he's a manifestation of God.
what? That's the Sandman?
Well, no, it's funny because, okay, I'm going to do a shameless plug, but I love And That's Why We Drink with Em and Christine, and they have this one
Did they talk
episode.
about the man?
Yes!
Really?
That's the first time I heard it. Wait, hang on, I have to find the episode, because if they see this, I'm literally going to poop your pants.
Jesus.
But I wrote it down because I want to write into them about the Sandman. Because in one of their episodes, they talk about it, and I've listened to the episode before, but that was before we literally met the freaking Sandman.
Yeah.
And I didn't put it together. And I just was like literally losing my mind because it was so freaking crazy. All right, I think it's right, but it's episode 43 at about 20 minutes through the show, and they're talking about, and it's just a little excerpt that Em puts in there about the man. And like that people have like made pictures or talked about this man that people see in their dreams. And then Em and I look it up, and I wanted to write into them to talk to them about it, but I'm a psychic medium. They probably think I'm crazy. And I just wanted to be like, the man that you're talking about, I literally talked to him. He's the Sandman. And then, since I've been too busy and nervous to write into them, I was like, well, we should talk about it, separately, but I'll still try to reach out to them if I have time. So then this TikTok comes across my screen, and I'm like, we need to do the man. Because I've been thinking about this for like 2 weeks. I've been too scared, too nervous, and too busy to actually talk to the people that I want to about it. So we're just gonna make a TikTok. And the TikTok does not do it justice, because the fact that all of these other people see this man, and then I saw the picture and I was like, okay, Mr. Sandman, that is not what you look like. So like, you need to explain to me why it is that these people that have drawn these pictures of you think that you look like this, because that's not what you show me. And he's like, well, yeah, because unlike like your client, she astral projects. Most people don't astral project. Now you need to understand something about the dream realm.
They see it in their dream.
The
so
dream
is an interpretation of the things that are actually there.
Well, he doesn't physically interfere with people. Yes. He just is like the computer man that oversees all of the screens of people's dreams. So since we're talking about energy, what he can do is he can project a personification of who he is into someone's dreams, but because it gets a little bit lost in translation, that's why that person looks like that. But like the reason your client is seeing him is because she's not in a dream realm, she's in the astral realm, which is different. Yeah. Because if you watch our dream video or listen to our other podcast that came out the week before this where we talk about like creative consciousness and the subconscious,
dragons.
When people are dreaming, you are in your subconscious realm, but if you're astral projecting, you are moving between realms, both physical and subconscious. So that is way scarier. So he's like, I actually gotta like tell this person what to do. They're coming to my TED Talk. Whereas the weird projection that people see is just a personified image of his essence within your dream realm. Hence the weird pixelated image of the dude with the big old eyebrows. Dude's got some fleek brow game, just letting you know.
But yeah, that he's also the reason why I was getting those specific things for her in her tarot reading to keep her safe, because he is like the gatekeeper of the dream realm, essentially.
Which is wild.
Yeah.
I literally lose my mind. Anyways.
So, my next story, I was doing another tarot reading, but this time it was a spirit guide reading. So the first portion is like a mediumship reading, and then I do like cards with it. So with the mediumship portion, I was picking up on her spirit guides. So I was talking to Liv about it, and she was like, so I'm seeing that your client has a past life where she works in the Akashic records. So,
oh yeah, that one was really weird. I forgot, sorry.
Yeah. So if you guys don't know what the Akashic Records is, it's like this big spiritual library that holds all of the information of all of the realms.
Very well. I'll let you peruse my vast collection on one condition. To prove your worth as scholars, you have to contribute some worthwhile knowledge.
So she has this past life as this Akashic Records worker. And when Liv was telling me about it, she's like, I see this really big spirit that is telling me that he does the same thing that the owl from Avatar: The Last Airbender does in their big spiritual library.
Mm-hmm. Are you the spirit who brought this library to the physical world?
Indeed. I am one Shi-Tong, he who knows 10,000 things.
And then he's showing me this, like, wolf creature that is like with the like, what is it? The past life. Mm-hmm. And the wolves in Avatar: The Last Airbender are the spiritual beings that go out into the physical realm and bring back the knowledge to the spiritual library.
Were they wolves or foxes?
I don't know.
I think they were foxes in Avatar. I just don't want people to be like, you can't use that analogy because they're not wolves, they're foxes. But
there's some sort of canine thing.
This client had wolves.
Okay, so you saw them as wolves?
Yeah, didn't we?
You saw them as wolves. I saw something, okay, I saw like a wolf-like thing because they were like, this is what Liv is seeing. Mm. But I also see this like ball of energy that like spins like this. Is this the same thing that you were seeing? Or are they two different beings?
They're two different beings, but they work together.
Got you. Does she have two of them then?
Two of what? There's the wolf that deals with the owl guide.
Okay.
But the owl guide isn't a spirit guide. It's just...
Yes.
Yeah, it's like her boss from when she was an Akashic Records person. And he helps dictate things that are doing in her life now.
Yeah.
Yes. But then her little pink thing is a spirit guide for her now.
Okay.
Right?
I feel like he's not a spirit guide.
He's just a guide. Because is he on your right or your left? Because I feel like he's on my right. But I thought you thought he was a spirit guide. So I'm trying not to like step on your toes.
No.
Okay, yeah, because I feel like he talks to the wolf, and the wolf relays
The information?
That's what it's called.
The information going into the library.
Information into the library for the big giant library being. It's really weird, guys.
Yeah, so to explain that again, there's this larger being that would be like a higher up for this girl's past life as a worker in the Akashic records. He is like telling us that he's like the owl from Avatar: The Last Airbender, who was like in charge of the big spiritual library in Avatar: The Last Airbender. However, Liv was also seeing this wolf being, and I was also perceiving this wolf being as well. And the wolves or the foxes or wolves, I'm not sure which one it is, in the Avatar: The Last Airbender. The wolves are the beings that bring information to the spiritual library.
Shh, Katara! Not in front of the fox, he's with the owl.
We're perceiving like this hierarchy within the Akashic records, whereas this woman is one of the, she's telling me that she's the one that like puts things in order, like puts the information in order so that it makes sense in the library. So she specifically stays within the Akashic records. Now, why am I perceiving all of this within a spirit guide reading? So Liv was telling me, well, what do you see? Because I see this weird wolf thing. And I was like, I see a wolf. However, I see this weird ball of energy that's about the size of my fist. And he's like pinkish red, like very, very, very hot pink red. And he's like moving up and down and all around. And he like sits above her right shoulder. And at the moment, I was like, that's a weird thing. I don't know what that is. But when I was doing her reading, I realized that this being was with her. It's like almost like this being's like attached to her soul. So he follows her around wherever she is and wherever she goes. So he's not necessarily a spirit guide. So I thought maybe he's like a familiar spirit, but I also learned that familiar spirits are things for witches, and familiar spirits are essentially like a being that helps you do things within the physical realm, so they help you do spells and things like that. But my perception of a familiar spirit would be a soul that is like almost attached to your soul and follows it everywhere, like this being is over her shoulder. So it would be similar to like in the Avatar: The Last Airbender, Aang and Appa.
Choose well. A sky bison is a companion for life. I guess this means we'll always be together.
When they were very young, they were bind together and travel throughout their lifetime together. And even through different lifetimes, there's still this like companion being with the avatar that follows them around. So that's how I perceive this little ball of energy for her, is this like familiar spirit that is almost attached to her. But there is like a different like connection between them. It's like one is a little bit more of a hierarchy, or like there's a hierarchy to them, so one has more authority over the other. And I feel like what she did as an Akashic Records worker is she would tell this little spirit to go to different dimensions and pull information and bring it back to her, because her, as this very solid being, as her Akashic Records person, because she is this solid being, it is hard for her to move through dimensions, because dimensions are kind of like they're kind of like when you go scuba diving in water and you go very deep. You have to be cautious about resurfacing, because the pressure on your body changes so much that it can cause you to become very sick. That is kind of how the dimensions work. And it would be very hard for her to move through the dimensions and get the same information. So she sends this little ball of energy to these dimensions, and he like records the information and then brings it back to her. But the reason why he is able to do it is because of like how his energy is. He's like very buzzy. So because of the energy that's in him, he is able to like neutralize the pressure that is on the outside of him. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because if you're talking about the energy or states of energy, think about dimensions as solid, liquid, gas, plasma, and things like that, and things in between it. So if you yourself are a particle, or this little pink being that Em's talking about, if you are able to move through dimensions, you're going to have a lot of energy yourself, in which you can manipulate the frequency of existence you wish to be on in order to change your state. So if you're a gas and you want to become a liquid, you need to slow your particles down. So if he's his normal existence and he needs to go into a different dimension that could be equatable to a liquid, he'll slow his frequency down in order to transverse into that separate realm of existence and then come back.
But that's why he's so buzzy, is because he can change his frequency at the flip of a hat.
Yeah.
And he has the ability to, what he was showing me is he has the ability to like skip through time, or like skip through time and space. And it's like, he was showing me this character from Overwatch.
Thankfully, the brilliant scientist Winston was able to construct a chronal accelerator, granting Tracer the ability to speed up and slow down her own time.
Where this character from Overwatch has the ability to take like slow down time and take quicker steps, so it appears as if they are it appears like they're transporting themselves, even though they're just like changing the space and time around them. But because he's able to change the frequency within him, he is able to transport himself to different dimensions and not be affected by the pressure there, and then go back to this person and like show the recording of the information that he saw there. So in this life, she still has this little ball of energy, and this ball of energy looks like the character from Treasure Planet.
Which is really funny.
The character from Treasure Planet is a morph.
What? What is that thing?
He's a morph. I rescued the little shapeshifter on Proteus 1. Yeah, took a side to me. We've been together ever since.
That's what it's called. And
Or a morph.
he's one of the pirates. Like, he does basically the same thing in this TV show or in this movie as well, because he's able to shapeshift, and he's also able to transport himself to different places.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Is he clairaudient? Is she clairaudient? I hear him with like these little tiny like garbly-gook staticky kind of things like you would hear on the TV, but I feel like he goes to different dimensions, and then because he is frequency himself, he's like that little cushy ball, so he absorbs the frequencies of the things around him and then brings it back to her and projects it like a speaker. And like how you work with clairaudience, she clairsentiently feels it, and then that weird thing that you said that you do with like passive echolocation, that
might
helps
be
her
why I
with
perceive
the
it a
feeling
certain
of
thing.
it. Yeah, so he can get like a 3-dimensional recording of something through sound.
Got it.
And then she writes it down like the typewriter people when she was an Akashic Records person, how they hear the typewriter things, and then, or not the typewriter, the, what is it called? Telegrams. Like the ones and zeros and stuff. She hears that and then writes it into a story.
Got you.
Which is weird. I just wanted to know if he was clairaudient or she was clairaudient.
He's very clairaudient, which is why I perceive him
easily.
Yeah.
And I didn't. That's why I got the dog.
The
The
wolves.
wolf. Yeah.
because it led me to read this weird
But he
bubble
talks funny.
thing.
It's really
Yes.
weird. It's like noises.
Yeah, because he doesn't understand like human things because he's like
A thing.
yes, because he's literally energy.
It's really funny. So in the podcast, I'm going to share a couple, mediumship stories as well. And we're going to explain, because I have a really good story about how information comes to me when I'm talking to human souls, and how I understand that it's not just my own thoughts, or a mental illness of some sorts. Because when I get information, it's not just one single thing. So we'll get into the beautiful relationship that you can have, or that the beautiful relationship that spirit has with people, not only when I'm giving information to people, but the things that they can gift me through readings, which is really cool.
Yeah, so if you guys are interested in what we have in store next week, make sure you subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you get notified when our next video comes out. And if you guys want to know more about our paranormal stories of a medium, check out our podcast, because we're going to go into more detail about these 2 stories, as well as giving you more stories to dig your teeth in. So if you personally have stories...
I feel like our podcast would be like the equivalent of corn. You really want to eat some corn.
Because I said, like, dip your teeth, and I could hear you thinking about it.
You want to eat corn on the cob, but then it gets stuck in your teeth, and you're like, it was delicious, but was it worth all of this? I gotta get this out, I gotta get that out. Then there's just corn flying everywhere. If you're around people, you're like, well, I don't know if I want to, like, spit it out, or if I gotta, like, put it in my pocket for later.
So if you guys have crazy stories, make sure to share them with us in the description below, because we do listener stories.
And we gotta get a new one going soon, guys.
Yeah, we need more stories.
Yeah, because we've been putting them on our Patreon. If you're interested.
Want to get in on the stories before we talk about them.
Yeah. So if you didn't get from this, Em does tarot readings. I do medium readings. We do tarot versus medium readings where there's the both of us. And it's fun. We're a lot more professional in person, I promise.
Are we?
I try to be.
I want to not be. It's what they expect.
We are your Meta PsycKicks. So the theme song.
No.
I was thinking on the way here in the car that us doing our, hi, I'm Liv, and I'm Em, and we're your Meta PsycKicks. We need like a theme song.
No, that's way too long.
And the only thing I could think about was like, Meta, 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 Meta PsycKicks, Meta PsycKicks, Meta, 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 Meta PsycKicks. And then I was like trying to do some like cool rap thing over it, because like, we're your sidekicks to everything metaphysical. So I'm thinking like capes, superheroes, Batman, like that, but also copyright infringement. And I had some really cool rap stuff, but I couldn't remember what it is. It was like, hi, we're Em and Liv, and we went to school and learned some stuff, and we're really cool, and we're gonna tell you about being mediums, because capitalism sucks and school was nothing but freaking the worst.
That's too long.
And now we're here. Something like that. I don't know. I'm gonna shop it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just telling you that it's gonna be me saying meta a lot of times with PsycKicks after it, and then some really cool rap lyrics.